We spend about a third of our entire lives asleep. A third. And yet, most of us, we're actually pretty terrible at it. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and find out the real truth about sleep.
Think about it. For as long as you can remember, you've probably heard one simple number. Just get this many hours of sleep and you're golden. But is it really that simple? Is that the whole story? Or have we all just bought into a massive health myth? And here it is, from the expert himself, Dr. Michael Bruce, who's known as the sleep doctor, basically says the biggest lie about sleep is the one we all believe. Yep, the whole 8-hour thing, he says it's a myth. It's time to get this sorted out.
So what's the deal then? Well, the truth is, there isn't one magic number that works for everybody. Nope. For most adults, we're looking at a range, somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. That's kind of the sweet spot. But, and this is a big but, even that is just a tiny piece of a way bigger puzzle.
Okay, and this is where everything changes. The whole game. We've been so focused on counting the hours, but the real secret isn't about how long you sleep. It's all about when you sleep. That's the key.
And what decides that timing? Something called your chronotype. You can think of it like your own personal, built-in genetic clock. It's literally hardwired into you. This clock tells your brain when to pump out hormones that make you feel awake and alert, and when to release the ones that tell you it's time to wind down. So, what does this genetic code actually look like in real life? Well, Dr. Bruce breaks it down into 4 main types, and he's named them after animals, which is kind of cool. So, are you a lion, a bear, a wolf, or a dolphin? You're definitely one of them. Let's figure out which one you are. Okay, check this out. This is basically the user manual for your own energy. First up, you've got the lions. They're the early birds, right? The go-getters. Then there are the bears, and that's about half of us. Our energy just kind of follows the sun. Next are the wolves, your classic night owls, who are just hitting their stride when everyone else is winding down. And finally, the dolphins. These are the light sleepers, the ones who can be a bit anxious and don't really have a set schedule. See yourself in there anywhere? And this is why knowing this stuff is a total game changer. Once you know your chronotype, you can stop swimming against the current. You can actually schedule your life around your body's natural energy peaks. Imagine doing your most important work, not when your calendar says so, but when your brain is literally wired to perform at its best.
All right, let's get practical. Let's talk about something almost all of us do and something most of us get totally wrong no matter what our chronotype is. It all comes down to that first cup of coffee in the morning.
Now, the rule here is super simple, but you might not like it. You need to wait 90 minutes. Yep, a full hour and a half after you wake up before that first drop of caffeine. So why on earth would you do that? Well, here's the science behind it. The moment you wake up, your body gives you a huge shot of a hormone called cortisol. It's basically your body's own natural super powerful coffee. If you drink coffee right then, it's kind of pointless. You're just putting a hat on a hat. But if you wait that 90 minutes, your natural cortisol starts to fade. That's the perfect moment for the caffeine to kick in and give you a real effective boost. Okay, but what about that afternoon crash? That 2 p.m. feeling where you just hit a wall? Well, there's a pretty wild trick for that, a secret weapon used by a lot of top CEOs. It's called a nappa latte. It sounds a little weird, but here's how you do it. First, you drink a cup of coffee, pretty quickly. Then, right away, you take a 25-minute nap. Now, here's the magic. While you're napping, your brain is clearing out all this sleepy stuff called adenosine. And just as you're waking up, bam, the caffeine from that coffee hits your system. It's like a 1-2 punch against tiredness. We're talking a guaranteed 4 hours of solid energy. All right, let's talk about the number one problem people have with sleep. That horrible moment when you wake up at like 3 a.m., your body is tired, but your mind is running a marathon and you just can't get back to sleep. Does that sound familiar to anyone? So here's what's actually happening. It's not just in your head, it's physical. The second you start thinking about work, about that dumb thing you said yesterday, your heart rate starts to climb. And here's the thing, you physically can't sleep if your heart rate is too high. The solution? We got to bring it back down. And this is how you do it. It's a simple breathing trick called 4-7-8. It goes like this. You breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Then you hold that breath for a count of 7, and then you breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Just focusing on that rhythm, it distracts your brain and physically slows your heart rate down, letting you drift back to sleep.
Okay, so we figured out the best time to sleep, and we've got a trick for when we wake up in the middle of the night. But there's one last super important piece to this whole thing. It's not just about getting sleep, it's about getting good, high quality, restorative sleep. And there are two major things that absolutely wreck your sleep quality. Number one, alcohol within about 3 hours of bedtime. Yeah, that glass of wine might make you feel sleepy, but it actually stops you from getting into the deep, restorative sleep you desperately need. And number two is late night eating, especially anything with sugar. And really, this brings us to the most important point of all. Listen to this. 5 hours of really good, solid, deep sleep is way, way better than 8 hours of tossing and turning and getting crappy, light sleep. It's not even close. When it comes to sleep, quality beats quantity every single time.
So there you have it. You have the tools now. You know about your internal clock, you know the secrets to using caffeine, and you know how to protect the quality of your sleep. So the real question is, what are you going to do with this information? What's the one change you're going to make, maybe even tonight, to finally start working with your body instead of fighting against it?